All right, we are back in DaVinci Resolve. So this is the third video in a series related to dealing with image sequences. In the first video, we took this video clip that you see here and we exported it from DaVinci Resolve into an image sequence. In the second video, we took a couple different software and actually modified those image frames using some batch processing to alter the way that they look. And so now the final step is to get this back into a video that then we can use in our nonlinear video editor, in our case, DaVinci Resolve 19. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is in DaVinci Resolve, first of all, you want to have the paths handy. You want to know how to get to where you've stored your different groups of images. So you just want to be familiar with that path. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch down here at the bottom set of tabs. We're going to switch to the very first one, which is called the Media tab. This is generally where your starting point a lot of times would be in Resolve. You're bringing in your media from various places and kind of organizing things into folders and that kind of thing, depending on how complex your project is. So with this window open as such, we're going to want to go to the three dots in the upper right quadrant of the screen. There's this three-dot menu. And if we click on that, there's going to be an option here for frame display mode. And I think by default, this is shown as individual. But what we want to do is have it show up as sequence. So make sure sequence is the one that's checked here. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we are going to go first. Let's start with the ones that we did in Paint Shop Pro. We're just going to select all of those images and drag them over to drop right here. And what that's going to do is that's going to put this in place here. We can actually drag it into our project if we want to. That would be easier actually to just have done it there. And what it's done is it's taken those images and it has brought them in as a sequence automatically. So it hasn't actually rendered this as a video per se. It's still the set of images, but DaVinci Resolve has a way to treat that group of images as if it were a piece of video. Okay? We're going to do the same thing for the ones that we did in Vector Magic, and we're going to go with the end product, which is the PNGs. We're going to just select all of those. And then this time we're just going to drag it right down into the project. There we go. This window up here is kind of like your, it's more of a view of your, the general media files that aren't necessarily part of your project yet. This big window down here is stuff that's actually part of your project. So now we've got our test sequence number 1, which is the one from Paint Shop Pro. And we've got this sequence, number 2, which is the one that was vectorized. And it's just a very slightly different look. If we zoom in, we can see the difference there. We can see that it's been vectorized. So now if we go back to edit, we've got these sequences here ready to drag in and use. So let's just bring them in one at a time. We brought in the first one, and let's bring in the second one. Now you notice there's no audio with these, which we talked about earlier. There is no audio for image sequences. It's just visual. And you'll also notice that they seem to be like they're a different length than the one that we resized here. But if we were to take one of these and put it over the top and then hit Control R and size it up, let's make this snap here, size it up to match here, now it is representing the same action as the original clip. And what we can do is we can change the opacity of this one. It doesn't line up perfectly all the time, or it doesn't seem to on a frame-by-frame basis. And that just has to do with interpolation issues, basically. But it starts in the same place and it ends in the same place. And some of the in-betweenness might appear a little different when you're looking at both of them together. I'm not entirely sure I know why that is. There's probably a very good math reason behind it that I just haven't thought through enough. but I haven't run into any situations where it's become an issue, that precision difference. We can do the same thing with our vectorized version. We're going to do Control R to change the speed of this one to be about the same. And now we can see that one. So we could do that, or we could put these side by side if we wanted to see them one after the other. If you're doing up a little dailies reel or something and just want to see them one after the other to compare. And there you go. I mean, that's literally it. It really is just a matter of, on the media tab, making sure you've got frame display mode set to sequence, and then you just drag the whole set of files, the whole set of images together, and DaVinci Resolve will recognize that these are in a sequence and will assemble them into a clip that you can then use and change the speed of, and you can cut and, copy and paste and trim and all that good stuff. You can apply effects at this point if you want to. So that part of it is like really, really easy, right? So getting the image sequence out of DaVinci is pretty simple, and getting it back in is really simple. It's what you want to do with it in the middle is where things get kind of interesting. And then when you go to render out your final video, it will treat this just like any other video clip. It will render it however you've set it, whatever effects you've added or color correction you've done after this. All of that will be applied in exactly the same way. But you've been able to take those frames out and do something a little special with them that maybe is difficult to achieve with, regular filters and effects and that kind of thing. I really like it because it ends up being it's a clean result. Like especially compared to this here, where I didn't have any motion blur turned on in iClone, so there's not much of it there. The frames are pretty clean here too, but it was rendered with kind of a little bit of a blur, and this is volumetric light, so it's foggy and whatnot. And one of the results of running it through this filter is it's just a little bit crisper. So you can use this and use a combination of these methods to achieve some really interesting looking effects, some really unique looking effects for your video. This isn't just for Machinima video sources. This could be for live action too. You can do stuff like this with any video source, really. It is a bit labor intensive. It is a bit disk space intensive, but it's certainly not having to paint, one frame at a time or anything. So that's a good thing. Anyway, if you liked this content and want to see more tutorials like this, or maybe have some ideas of things that you want to see covered in the production process, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, I'll know that you like the video, and I'll keep making stuff like this. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you.